check up on us and make sure we did a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who don't know me, I'm Ashley. I'm part of Nat's downline, like way down, but I'm there. I am a diamond, and that's about it. Success Club All-Star, trying to get in my 2 years now, so hopefully I'll be able to do that come February. But that's about it. If you ever see Team Endorphinatics, that's my team within our team, so that's about me. And our guest speaker today, which I'm super excited about, can't wait to listen to all her advice, is Erin. And she is a mom to two, a 17-year-old and a 7-year-old. I can't believe you're the mom of a 17-year-old.
I can't either.
Fabulous. Started with Beachbody in October of 2013. She went from Emerald to Elite in her first year. I want to know how the heck you did that. And currently a 9-star diamond, 2-time Elite, Success Club legend, and she spoke at Summit. So super excited to have you here, Erin. If you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and your story, and then we can get started with those questions.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, really. And it's such a good turnout for, what is today even, a Tuesday at 1 o'clock, or it's 1 o'clock my time, I'm Eastern. So you guys are all awesome for putting the time in and making this like a non-negotiable for you. It's super important. And I think that really is what builds your business, honestly. Like by being here and doing these things is super vital. So I'm sure you don't give yourself a lot of credit, but you have to give yourself credit for this. So, and also because I'm sure it was announced that I was the one being on the call, so I appreciate you being here. I am a mom of 2. You're right. Thank you for being surprised that I have a 17-year-old. I'm still surprised. I was actually 17 when I had her. So hopefully that math makes a little more sense. Still seems crazy to me. My son is 7. I have a pretty cool life. Everything happens for a reason, and she was my little savior because in high school I was probably going down the wrong path. But because I had her when I was in high school, I never was really pushed to have a job. I didn't care about a career. I didn't do a day of college. That just wasn't important to me because at the time I was really fearful of being judged. I thought that everybody was going to kind of look down upon me because I was such a young mom. And my only goal in life was kind of to have people not talk poorly about me. So I didn't have any career goals, and I saw this as a business opportunity presentation. So a lot of people come in as a discount coach. They try Shakeology. I had been asked to do other shakes that didn't seem like it would fit into my life. And honestly, I was like taking so many supplements for energy and trying to lose weight and doing all these things that this seemed like the perfect fit for me. And I went all in. So that's like a huge part. You say like going Emerald to Elite in a year. That's the biggest part. I was all in. I was 100% like understood this business. I loved the business model of it. And it was the first time that I felt like I could actually do something and be somebody to someone other than my kids and my husband and my family. Like I always wanted to make a difference. I wanted to be a social worker. But like I said, I didn't do a day of college. Everything changed for me. So this seemed like the best thing for me where I could feel like I could change someone's life and be a part of that. And I also wanted to work from home. I am constantly late. I feel like I'm always rushing to get everywhere. And I did my internet just go out? I just got that lovely little flash. But I was so sick of like being late.
You may have cut out now. Your photo is frozen, but we could still hear you. But now all of a sudden nothing's coming through. Can anybody else hear Erin at all? No? Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me message her. 1 sec. I think she might have went out and she'll probably come back in. Hopefully that helps.
Oh my
There she
gosh,
is.
that was so mean. I'm
You're
so
back.
sorry. I don't know where I just went. Did I disappear completely for you guys?
It just froze and then we couldn't hear you.
Oh gosh, and I probably was like this. You know when you
Go-
freeze, you're like in the worst space too. All right, I'm so sorry. I don't know where I went, but I was talking on and on. So back. Basically, my point of saying all that was I saw other people were doing this. I saw other people were quitting their jobs, and I was like, I can do that. If someone else did it, then that means that you guys can do this. And just so you know, I quit my job. I was 15 months in because that's when I started making six figures with this. And when I started, I went Success Club 10 All-Star. I was always hitting 10 or 12, never any higher than that. Just that's what I felt comfortable with. So I was never one to hit huge Success Club numbers, but that way I could work with these people and really introduce them to the business. So that was how I got in. And if anyone can do it, you can do it too. And that was my big thing. Like, I'm going to prove that I can do something and be someone and be home with my kids. So I had a really strong why and I went for it, and I introduced people to the business opportunity. So that's a little bit of my background with a nice interruption there. Sorry.
That's okay. It just cut out or something. I have no idea what happened there. So do you want to jump in with questions? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I want to make sure that I'm sharing whatever's going to give you guys the most value. So we can jump right into,
Perfect. Okay. This one's from Gina. When just starting out as a new coach, do you suggest focusing first on building a network and relationships and then focus on challenge groups and inviting to be a coach, or all at once?
So I think that I'm kind of an odd bird. I came in for the business, and I find that most people on my team came in out of a challenge group. I do think that challenge groups are the basis of this business. I think that's where I found all my coaches. I signed up a lot of them as discount coaches and introduced them to the business, kind of laid it out there. Like, once you get results, then you'll be able to share this with people. And I always mention that when I'm signing people up. I'm like, if you get awesome results, people are going to be inspired by you and they're going to want to do this with you. You could create a business, but I also know that it all depends on your market and your niche, on who you're working with. So I always I know that when I started this, I didn't have any confidence. I actually did a video with my best friend. We were like 2 months into this. I'm like, let's make a video. I shut the thing down. I burst into tears. I'm like, delete it. I was mortified. And now I'm here. So just know that with this business, you guys are going to have self-growth too. I still have a ton to do. I'm reading Mastering Your Mean Girl right now, and it's so great. And I always need to like calm down those voices that are like, Erin, you're such a loser, because we all have those. But anyways, I think having the challenge group and starting out, a lot of people will come from the challenge group. So I definitely think doing the challenge groups is one of your most important things. Building your network can be adding 5 friends a day. I try to do that, like eat my frog, because it's kind of one of those things I don't want to do necessarily. So that you can build your network super simple like that. And then what was it? Oh, to start building right away. Yeah, I would build. This is like a do as you grow. I know a lot of my coaches are like, oh, I'm nervous to talk about it because I don't know enough yet. You're never going to know it all. There's still things that I don't know after 3 years. I just was 3 years last week. So you're never going to know everything. So don't ever feel that way. Just think of it as like you're sharing a movie. You're sharing a TV show that you love, and you want someone to do this too. You want them to watch the movie or go to the restaurant, and it's super natural. So if you like kind of dummy it down in your head, then yeah, I would build and do challenge groups and network all together and just like grow fast. Because like Keith Callahan used to say, fast is fun. And it really is with this business, because when you go slow, you lose the momentum and then the fear builds back in. So I would say build fast, but only as much as you can get. Like for me, I said, I know I have friends who get like Success Club 50. That's not for me. And personally, I know that's not for me because I like to work with 5 to 6 people a month. And I like to remember that I still have the 5 to 6 people from last month. So now I'm working with 10 people. And I don't like to feel overwhelmed that I would have 30 people to work with in a month, because I wouldn't give everyone the right attention. That might work for you. If hitting high Success Club numbers is for you, then that's for you. You just have to kind of know what works, but definitely go all in, build your network, do your challenge groups. Like I would build fast because it's so much more fun. Hopefully that answered your question. Kind of long-winded.
I just have a question in regards to that. Do you feel like you attract more business builders because that's how you got started?
I don't, and I thought that I would, But honestly, I did learn when I first started, because I got started, I thought everyone would want to do this business. And I was sharing the business like nobody's business. I was like, oh my God, you're going to love this. It's the best thing in the world. And people were like, yeah, no. And it didn't even make sense to me. Like, how can you not see that this is going to be so fun and so cool? But I noticed that a lot of people didn't have the confidence. Like, they don't think, oh, I can go build a big business and change my life. Like, that's scary. That's a huge change. So I do find that I have to kind of nurture them with the challenge groups first and introduce them to Shakeology and really make them see like the internal benefits of Shakeology and really fall in love with how they feel inside it and be able to recognize that. Because a lot of people, if they're not losing weight right away, they're like, oh, this doesn't work. You have to be able to explain why Shakeology is so great, what it's doing for your body and your insides. And then that will connect them with like loving the product and then wanting to share the product. So I still do bring some people in off of the business, but the majority for me is based off of results from Challenge Group.
That's me too. That's what I was wondering. I was wondering because you don't very often, because I was all in when I started as well.
Right.
You don't very often find people like that. They want to experience it and they kind of need to experience it before they'll buy into actually being a coach. So I was just
right. I find the same thing for sure.
Okay. Next question from Janelle. How do you stay motivated when it seems like every person you talk to says no, even if everything leading up to the invite seems positive and this opportunity fits exactly everything they want? That's a good question.
That is a good question, because objections is probably one of like the biggest things in our business. It's the hardest thing to deal with, like mentally. And it's sad too, especially when you know somebody either like has a lot of weight to lose, or like the community of this could be so huge for them, or just like, you know, this would be a good fit. It's heartbreaking when they say no. But I've learned to somehow take objections as a challenge, because I know that the only reason they're saying no is because they don't trust me enough, or they don't have enough information. So there's only, or maybe I'm doing something wrong. So there's very few reasons why people would say no to this. And I need to figure out what it is. So I think just like building trust and being able to establish a relationship and keep the relationship going. Even when they say no, that's okay. Like, lead the conversation in a different direction so that you stay in touch. I always say that this is so bad, but I love Swedish fish. And there are times where I would eat Swedish fish like days in a row. I'm like, oh, I just want another bag of Swedish fish. And I don't want anything to do with anything that's healthy. And I just feel in this funk and I don't want to even think about health. And it was bad. But as long as like the person who was trying to help me get out of this funk stayed in close like contact with me, then when I was ready, I'd be like, all right, fine, I'm ready. I'm here. Like, I'm over this. I feel like sugar. Yep, now help me out. But if they didn't stay in touch with me and just left because I said no, when I was ready, I probably wouldn't do much differently because they weren't still there. So I try to make sure that I'm still connecting, especially if you know this is perfect for somebody. But I do think like objections are either prevented or provoked, like whatever their reason is. If they say they don't have money, like, people have money for whatever they want. People have money for these crazy cars, these crazy handbags or shoes. Like, especially as women, we know the things we spend money on that are kind of ridiculous. And we just don't understand like the value that this can bring to our health. So I almost think like I need to figure out a way on how I can get into their what they need, like their emotional part of their brain. So most human brain, I think it says no like 10 times before it says yes, because we're all afraid of change. Change is hard. So I try to just think like, what is it emotionally? Why do they want to? And that's when I ask a ton of questions, like treating yourself like an ambassador. Like, you are an ambassador of this product. If you know one person whose life has changed from this, then you have enough information to be able to help people. So you have to really treat yourself like a consultant and believe that you can help them in something there's just like a little roadblock up. I never take objections personally, and I used to. God, I've cried a lot of tears over this business, but I've got stronger because I know that it's not about me. It's just about their own fear. And if I can break through that fear and somehow get them to see the bigger picture and have like a vision of them being healthy and really help them to understand the value of what their life would be like if they did feel better, it all comes down to like asking the right questions, where they are, where are they stuck, why would they be interested, and why I think they'd be interested, and is that right? Like, I feel like you're this, is that right? Maybe even like events or somehow connecting to some sort of event. But if I really feel like for my coaches, if I really feel like they are doing everything right and they keep struggling to hit Success Club, I will take a look at their messages on what they're sending, and I want to like really dive in deep to how they're wording things, because there are coaches that have kind of like been talking to everybody and just can't get anywhere. They're like at their own little roadblocks. You know what I mean? So then I'll say, can you just send me your messages? Let's look it over. I found one girl was saying like, oh, if you want to think about it, like you can think about it overnight and I'll get back to you tomorrow, when they were like ready. Or when I started, I'm like, that's okay. If you don't want to do it, like, don't feel bad. And I realized, I'm like, why would they feel bad? I'm like telling them they should feel bad. I'm making this about me. There's little keywords that we could use that almost like cause doubt in people's mind. So you want to make sure that you're not doing that, because you could be portraying that there's a reason to be fearful of doing this, or there's a reason to be scared. So definitely like run the message by your coach. Be like, this is a message. Is there something I did wrong? Can you see anything that maybe I shouldn't have said or should have added in? This is the best business in the world because we all want to help each other. And most businesses aren't like that. Like corporate jobs, people step on each other to get ahead. But we have a team, and if you use your team, it can be so eye-opening. You might see something so simple like, oh, right, maybe saying that is like putting doubt in their mind, and then that could change everything. So basically, like continuing to build trust, finding out a way to prevent their objection, and then finding out if you're doing something wrong.
That's good. I have an example. Oh, go ahead, Gina.
Yeah. I was just going to say on that. So because as you were saying that, it was like I had an epiphany where I have a tendency to do this sort of self-deprecation, like, no worries, let me know when you're ready. So how would you say that differently? So you're not making it about you. So you're not almost apologizing before they've even responded. How would you rephrase that?
I totally get that, because that was me. And I remember too, somebody's like, do you say thank you after they order? And I'm like, I thought about it, but now I'm like, no, you're welcome. Like, I introduced you, the coolest thing. I changed my mindset to I'm helping them way more. And you have to think that, like, if they're not signing on, then they're not getting the benefit. Do you know what I mean? So like saying no worries is like, oh, don't worry, don't feel bad, that's okay. And that's definitely giving them a reason to back away from it, because it's almost like you've experienced people saying no before, so that's your common reaction. So you're like letting them know that you've dealt with this before, that other people are saying no. And it's kind of like changing your mindset to like excitement and passion and assuming the sale. I always assume the sale. I'm always like, oh my gosh, you're going to love this so much. I can't wait for you to be in my group. You are so funny. You are so inspiring, whatever. Like I can say truthfully, honestly, you never want to lie. Like whatever they bring to the table, call them out on it. People love compliments. And if you think about when you're like looking through your Facebook, sometimes you're like, oh, I love her dog. Oh, she got a new haircut. So cute. Oh, cool. And you're complimenting, hopefully, if you're a nice person, you're complimenting people all the time. Like, make sure you're sharing these compliments with people, but doing it with, like, confidence and just, like, being passionate and confident about what you're doing. I think it all comes down to confidence. I had to read a lot of books on confidence. Like I said, like I was crying at my first video that I ever did because I didn't believe in myself. So the more you find that you can assume the sale is huge and just bring the excitement and the passion and just say things like, you're going to love this so much. I am so excited for you. It's going to be so awesome. Words like that instead of don't feel bad, because you kind of can't do both. Do you know what I mean? If you're saying you're going to love this, but don't feel bad, it's two different like types of conversation. So if you stick with the assuming the sale and passionate and confident, if those are like your key ways to run the conversation and guide it that way, then you'll notice that you'll kind of stand off from those words because they won't fit in as well. Does that make sense? That's what I found that works.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, like this morning, for example, something that I've learned, and I've been doing this for about 1.5 years, is when people used to object, I used to completely shut down and be like, okay, fine, just get the 21-day fix. Like, oh my God, I just want a sale type thing, right? But now, like even this morning, I had a referral from somebody, and she contacted me and she's like, okay, well, I want the fix, but no Shakeology. And I'm like, okay, well, can I just ask you why no Shakeology? And then it went into this whole big long conversation, and now she's probably going to get the challenge pack because she thought it was $200 a month and she didn't know the benefits and all of these things. So I found, exactly like you're saying, the more confident I am, and I feel like I'm calling them out, but at the same time, a lot of people have excuses and they just want to be told that they're not valid excuses. Like, I find that a lot. Like, people are like, oh, it's so expensive. And then you break it down for them and they're like, oh, that's not that much.
Right.
It's almost like they need validation.
Yep.
Yeah. It's something that I found, at least.
Same with me. Absolutely. It's so huge.
Okay.
And it feels mean in a way when you first start doing it, but then you realize it doesn't matter. In the end, these people are going to be so grateful to you. And it's just opening their eyes.
When I first started doing that, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you like press the send button, you're like,
they're going to stop talking to me.
I know.
Okay. Next question from Katie. Have you ever felt like you fell off the coaching wagon? If so, how did you get back on track to become more successful?
Absolutely. I think we all have. When I first started, I thought about quitting a million times, of course, because it's hard and it's not normal and it's not like what society knows, and it's different. And it gets to be really exhausting and draining, and you start to doubt yourself. I drown myself in PD. I am a personal development junkie, because if not, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So, and it's not only just like reading it, it's like taking action steps, like putting yourself out there, like saying, going out of your comfort zone. You have to do things like that. Reach out to the scary person, or make a post that you don't want to post, because then the response from those things are going to give you the energy back. I always, when I fall off, I actually did just fall off. I was really sick 2 months ago. I had this blood disorder, and I've gained 20 pounds. I still got a ways to go. And I felt like nobody was going to be able to like relate to me anymore, because I have all this extra weight that wasn't on me before when I started coaching. And I started like beating myself up, and I thought I wasn't going to be able to come back from it. But it doesn't change like who I am, and it doesn't change the products that we have to offer, the challenge groups, and that's what's important. So it's not about me. Do you know what I mean? It's about the community, and it's about what we have to offer, and it's about the business opportunity and helping other people change lives. And I'm going to change my life back. I just have to do it, and I have some time now that I can. But it's focusing on the right things and finding something new. So for me, we're doing a confidence group, like a free confidence club next week for a challenge group. I'm not saying sick of doing it. Clean eating groups are awesome. They're fabulous. They absolutely show people the value of clean eating. But for me, after doing clean eating group after clean eating group, I needed something new, because I need to be excited and passionate about what I'm doing. So doing a confidence club, like for the next week, a free group where we will introduce the challenge group at the end, is exciting for me, because I get to do a little research and put some time into it and kind of create something, because that's me. I like to be creative. So you have to find what part of this business do you love and kind of go at that part full force. If you fall off, something that you know that you're good at, if it's running groups or if it's recruiting or if it's getting your own results, whatever you do, like go all in with the part that you're good at to make you remember like why you do this and why you love this. I also have, this is my secret thing, I have an album on my phone of screenshots of people. So when somebody messages me like, oh, I'm down 5 pounds, or oh, I just went to the doctor and got my lab results back, I take a screenshot of their words and I have an album in my phone. And I will scroll through that like it's my brag book. And I will be like, yes, like this person's life has changed. This person's life has changed. Where the heck am I going if I'm not going to, you know what I mean? If I leave this job, or if I don't continue to do what I'm doing, who would be missing out that I have a relationship with? Do you know what I mean? It could be my mom or my dad, because I wasn't there for them. And they both do Shakeology, of course. So it's like maybe just thinking about other people first and finding something new, and definitely make your own brag book. And if you don't have a team yet, I'm sure there's like success stories posted in your team page, or even online. You can Google Beachbody success stories and just screenshot some of them so that you can look through and be reminded of what a big deal this is and how many people have changed their life because of this, and you get to be a part of that. So it's kind of like a fresh, like in your face, yeah, don't forget the meaning of this.
That is awesome, because that's something that I do as well. But usually what I do is I go into my challenge groups and I actually ask them. Like, for example, what I just recently did was I was like, okay, share like your very first before picture when you started your journey. And I'm like, and put your current photo beside it, so that everyone, because we just had Thanksgiving up here in Canada, right? So everybody's bloated, and I'm starting the refresh today, right? So I wanted to motivate them. So seeing their photos beside each other, people were like practically in tears and so proud. And that helps me because like this month is a struggle. I'm not getting what I'm used to getting, and I'm getting a lot of no's, like 40 no's in one day, and my PD hasn't been up. So I love that suggestion. I think that's awesome. Focusing on what you have and how amazing your current people are is what gets me through the crap.
I actually just posted in my group today, name something. What did I write? Name something in your business that happened. I should tell you the right way I phrased it. It was just a simple sentence, but we already have 1 million comments. It says, name one great thing that happened in your business today, # positivity is contagious. And there's already so many comments underneath, and that's building other people up. So make sure you are, you know what I mean, sharing together. This is like a networking, relationship building thing. And something like that can really get everybody kind of back in the game. Like, oh yeah, I forgot how good it feels to connect with a free lead or some of the other things. Do you know what I mean?
I love, like, I have a lot of challenges with my coaches participating in my coach group. Whereas my challenge group, I have 120 women and they all love it and they're all posting all the time, but they're not all coaches, right? So when it comes to my coaches, they're just not as, like, they don't tune in much. So
it's definitely different.
Do you have advice on how to get your coaches more tuned in? Like, how do you
I thought you meant the opposite. Okay. So I deal with the opposite. I find like my challengers, I'm like, come on, wake up sometimes if it's not their first month. And my coaches are all, that's why I like posting in my coach page, because I know I'll get a bunch of responses of people being excited. I guess it's just like with your coaches, changing it up and finding what's exciting. I am obsessed with the color code, completely obsessed. Do you guys do the color code? Do you gems or
Yeah, Natalie did a gem test. We had a gem test.
So there's also color code, which to me was much more simple and made a lot more sense. It's about like what's your core motive, what drives you. And there's red, yellow, blue, and white. And the blue, their core motive is they want to be like loved by people. I'm totally a blue. And the red is like they want to be powerful and like leadership. The yellow is like they want to have fun. And the white is they want to more have like peace and calm and have everything kind of smooth. So when you learn what your coaches are, that's what I do for the first day of my Coach Basics, like finding out what their color is so that I know how to relate to them. Because you can't speak to everybody in your language. It doesn't make sense. I can't talk to everybody like they're blue because they're not blues, and reds probably think I'm kind of annoying. So I talk to my reds as like giving them kind of like a challenge or something that they're going to be inspired by, like something they can show leadership on. Whereas a blue, I show them how they can talk to people and really make a difference in people's lives. And do you know what I mean? And then a yellow, I'm like, let's show how this can be fun. Like, let's talk about Super Saturday. Who are you going to bring to Super Saturday? And there's different ways to talk to people. So kind of just seeing what the majority of your team is. And like yellows love recognition. So that's another thing that you can kind of see how to work with people. So it's not just, you know what I mean, if they're not your color and your core motive isn't the same.
Yeah.
So, and then changing it up based on like recognition, giving out little different power roles and stuff. But once you like find out what they are, and if gems works for you, that's awesome. It didn't work for me. It was too like vague and confusing for me. And the color code's very cut and dry. Like, this is what it is. And it always makes sense. My friends and I call each other by colors. We're like, oh yeah, she's a red. Just like, that's a normal conversation. Which,
okay, perfect.
I love it. It might help you. I'm not sure.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Next question.
It's a website. It's colorcode.com. It does have a book. I'm not sure. Yeah, one word. Colorcode.com is the website, and you can take the test on there. Beachbody actually had a discount code for it to get the test for free, the full test. You can still do the test to get your primary color. Mm-hmm. And Kim Carver said he was going to get it. I don't know if he posted in the wall. If he posted the discount code, I'll give it to Nat. But if it's up there, I'm not sure. He posted a few days ago. He was trying to get a new one.
Perfect. Okay. Next question. Do you send out a gift for coaches when they first join you, or do you wait until they reach a certain level?
I don't know if that's bad. I've never received one gift from my upline ever for anything I've ever done. So that's another thing that I didn't realize, I guess. I do like to send like a note, like a little congratulations note when they sign up, but I don't send a gift. No. When coaches become Emerald, I said Rock Your Network Marketing Business book by Sarah Robbins. And I'll send a little like personal thing depending on my relationship with them. And I'll just send that one gift as Emerald. I have diamond gifts and other little gifts. I like to do a lot of like surprise gifts. Like we did this week for the National Wake Up Call. If you post your selfie while listening to the National Wake Up Call with your biggest takeaway underneath it, we'll do a live raffle on my team calls tonight at 9. So we'll do the raffle and just give away a prize. I'm just doing the little shower thing that you put in the shower and listen to music on. So I figure you can listen to your personal development. So I do like little things like that. But no, that's the only thing. I don't give gifts before Emerald. I don't know if that's wrong.
I don't either.
Okay, good. I'm like, does that make me sound so mean?
No, not mean at all. Next question. What do you do to guide new coaches so they don't feel overwhelmed, but so they also feel energized to go full force and believe they can succeed in helping others?
So this is 100% goes back to the color code. Like I said, I do with Coach Basics, I do the color code. So everybody's different. And I literally treat them like their color because it's the only way. I know reds basically want to know that they're doing things right, and they want like an organizational system, where blues want to know that they're making a difference in people's lives. So I treat everybody different, but I do find that the biggest thing that people need to start out with is confidence. Like I will put a personal development book in their hand before anything, because I know they'll never make it if they don't have the confidence in themselves. So nothing else matters. They can do this business, but if they're not confident, I'm wasting my time, because they're never going to grow into anything. So that's the first thing I focus on is personal development with them. And then I also make sure that they're sending me their messages, like I said, because that can be the biggest roadblock and biggest like frustration for people is when people and they're not getting the response that they want, when they are like kind of like feel like they're messaging everyone, and then that can be so frustrating that they're like, I quit, I can't get anyone to commit, and I don't want that to ever happen. So I always go through messages with when people their first month, I always help them out with their messages. And I just try to like get them to connect with other people, because people will quit on themselves before they'll quit on a team. So if you can find them almost like a success partner group, it's so much better. Starting a thread with your 2 or 3 new coaches, or with someone on your team who has 2 or has a new coach who's really into it, and you guys team up and like, let's make a thread for the 6 of us, and just talking about Hitting Success Club, talking about different ideas so they don't feel like they're alone. Because if they're doing this on their own, they're, like I said, they'll quit because they're doing it for them. Whereas if they feel like they have a connection or a relationship or friendship with people on the team, then they're going to want to hit their goals just to like keep up with the team and keep the relationship going. So I try to really connect my team with each other and make them feel like more of a team feel. So that is, and of course, getting their why is, it doesn't even need to be said. That's the most important thing. Why are they doing this? And asking them like, so you say you want to do this because you want to stay home from your job. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be times when it gets super hard and you're going to feel like quitting. Like, what can I do? And what do you want me to do to help you get back on track? So then I can say, all right, remember you told me that you wanted me to push you, because at that time you felt like you really wanted this and you wanted to be home with your kids so badly that you said, yeah, Erin, push me because I really want this. But right now I see you're falling off. And this is me reaching out to you because you gave me permission to do this. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like asking for permission beforehand, so then it's not as awkward. Like, where did you go? You said you were all in, now you're gone. I forget if that was even the question. Am I still on the right track at least?
Yes.
Okay. Like, I think I'm going off on something totally different.
No, I think what you're saying about finding out their why is so important, because the people, my coaches now, are not the coaches that I had in the beginning. And like, they come, they go, and that's a lot of it. And when they're so excited in the beginning and they say that they want, to build a business and they're all in and all this stuff, and then they drop off, it almost makes me feel like a failure. But I've also learned that not everybody is made for this type of business. Like, from one of the books I read, I can't remember, it's like 2% of the population are able to be entrepreneurs and actually be able to motivate and keep going when times get hard. So reading that kind of stuff makes me feel better.
I would think it would be a little higher just because I think people don't realize that they can do it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I honestly think that if somebody saw me before this, they would have never thought I could do this of the way that I was at the time. Just really insecure, no confidence, and just like, And you do grow and you change with this business. And I really do think anyone can grow and change, but you have to want to. So that's the other thing. People aren't willing to grow. And I remember saying, like, people are willing to give up 40 years of their life to stay broke and be miserable. They're not willing to give up 4 years to go all in and really do this. It's just so crazy to me. Like, I've been doing this for 3 years. My life is drastically different. And before this, I was going to be sitting at a desk for 40 years and wind up broke and not fulfilled at all. It blows my mind. But I think more people can do it than actually do, but it's just finding their why on why they want to and really connecting emotionally with that.
Okay, let's see. Question from Jennifer. How do you get your team to hit Success Club on a continuous basis? What does your power hour look like, and how do you divide it? Do you want me to ask separately? It's a couple questions.
What is that the end of the question? And what does it look like?
How do you divide it up so you can do your own work and then help your team grow?
Okay, so how do I get my team to hit Success Club, and then about my power hour? Got it. Getting my team to hit Success Club is mostly based on recognition, like building excitement about it, having all the leaders hitting Success Club, because I found that when a few of the diamonds stopped hitting it, the team stopped hitting it as well, because it is leader of the pack, or whatever that saying is. I don't know. We talk about team total a lot so that people feel like they're a part of something on how much the points of our team, not just the points that we're getting ourselves. And then we have like recognition. Oops, I just
had a salad for lunch. I think those Caesar salads actually might be horrible for me.
I just messaged you that actually, which is totally fine. So we have 2 pages, and we do like every Monday I do recognition. Who's at Success Club? Where everybody are at? So then people can share them on. And then I say for the people who are at Success Club, like, can you give us some tips? How did you get there? What was the story behind it? So that the people who've already made it early on in the month kind of feel like excited that they're able to share what they've done, and they're helping the team, and they're commenting below. Do you know what I mean? And they're getting that recognition. I feel like that's mostly what it's about, and just people, again, connecting with people and just doing the graphics and recognizing them, and really just like coming together as a team and introducing people to people who they would get along with. I think for my power hour, I am not the most organized person in the world, to be completely honest. And I say that because if you're not the most organized, then you can still do this business. Don't think that only super organized people can be successful, because you can do this. You just have to find what works for you. Every morning I do try to be consistent with getting outside, because since I came home from work, I don't work outside the house anymore. I've actually didn't work as hard when I first started, because I'm like, oh, this is so great. So now I try to be consistent with having my shake every day outside to get some fresh air. And I listen to the Darren Daily. Do you guys do Darren Daily? It's so awesome. Darren Hardy, DarrenDaily.com. He sends just a quick little text message at, I think it's around 8 o'clock every morning. And it's never longer than 5 minutes. And it's just a little motivation. And it really is so awesome. You can go to DarrenDaily.com, put in your email address, or I do text message because my email is just a mess. Like I said, I'm not organized. But a text message will come to me in the morning, and then I just play that, and it starts my day off right. And I have my shake outside, and then I will send my 5 friend requests. Like I said, those are my non-negotiables. So I wake up and I do that every day. And then I have my power hour at night, because I'm a night owl. Certain people are morning people, certain people are night owls. You have to find what works for you. But you have to do one or the other. Like, if you want this to work, it sounds not like the most glamorous thing, but you have to find a chunk of time either in the morning or at night that really is your business time. And maybe if you have extra time in the middle of your day, awesome, but you have to put that extra time into it to make this work, because it doesn't just happen. That's why not everybody is a millionaire with this. Not everybody's helped millions of people. It's the people who do the extra work. So you have to find where you can put your extra work in. And then I try to do my 5, 5, and 5, and I make that like just a consistent thing. sending out 5 new conversations, sending out 5 follow-ups and 5 invites so that it's always just 5, 5, 5, simple. And that's my power hour. Some days I don't do it. Most days I do. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the most organized, but I do what I can for myself. And I know that if I don't do it, I'm going to be mad at myself. I also do top 3 because that's the best thing. I learned that at leadership last year, like having 3 things that you can do for your day for your business. So that way, when you go to bed at night, you feel like you accomplished something. Even if you didn't do the laundry, you never made your bed, you ordered out for dinner and you had like this day from heck and it was like, ugh. But if you did the 3 things that you set out to do that morning and you accomplished them, then you're going to feel good. So I have 3 non-negotiables, whether it can be anything, honestly, like posting something, but make it more specific so that when you go to bed, you do feel like you accomplished something. So that's my power hour. Were the 2 things, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and to be able to build your team with it. I don't do calls. So I do a lot of, you guys, if you have 1 person on your team, 2 people, you should definitely have weekly or bi-weekly calls. This changed my business too and it sounds like a lot of work, but messaging with people, awesome. Getting on the phone with them, even for 10-minute check-in, is so much more like of a connection. And having that 10-minute call, like, all right, let's do a weekly check-in. What are your goals for this week? Okay, your goals you told me last week were this. Did you hit them? Why do you think you hit them in that? Are you going to repeat it? Or why didn't you hit them? Simple, done. Like just going over those goals, having that connection is huge, being able to like phone time with them. So I don't do calls on Tuesday and Friday because I promote this as doing this for freedom of time. And I want to have freedom of time. So Tuesdays and Fridays are kind of my days to do whatever, like business work. And then I do a lot of my team calls, one-on-ones on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that's kind of how my schedule is laid out, if that answered the question.
And last question. What's your top tip for those pushing for diamond? What do you tell your team members who are going for that goal, and how do you support and guide them to reaching it?
I think a lot of people don't even really like understand their diamond. Like mapping it out and having a visual is so huge. Once you put it on paper and show them like, all right, you have 3 over here and 1 over here. You'd only need an emerald. Who can you think of? And like, I am so like a visual, or like a universe has your back type thing, like a Gabby Bernstein thing or The Secret. I really do believe when you think certain things, they happen. So writing it down on paper and planning out how you're going to hit it has been huge for my coaches to understand how it can happen and how it's going to happen, and just being able to visualize it. Again, it goes back to the color code with little things like maybe if they're yellow, like I can't wait to celebrate your diamond with you. We're going to go out to dinner. We're going to have like a Zoom call, champagne night, or little things that connects with the color code. I swear I live by that thing. And just, I also like to connect with their coaches because they're new. And if they're not diamond yet, it's hard. Like it seems like a lot of work. And I want to be able to let their like soon to be emerald coaches know that I'm here for support for them too, so that they have more of a connection. So I will reach out to their coaches who are interested in the business and help guide them along, so that that will help them get to diamond by giving my support too and not making them feel like they're on their own for that. I'll do message threads with some of their new emeralds, maybe a message thread with a couple of people who are trying to hit diamond, so that they can feed off each other and share ideas on how they're going to get there. And that really, really pushes them. Even just a message thread of like 3 people who are trying to get to diamond, but they really do like build off the momentum from each other. And that's been super helpful.
Do you have a separate group then that is just your coaches, or do you have like a team? Like how do you split yours?
I do, but I don't use it often. I don't like it. I have my team page where we have all discount coaches. Anybody can go in there, and we post the team calls. We post the national wake up calls. We do recognition, and that's more to like get people inspired. We do a lot of transformation stories. And then I have an emerald and above group for people who are just working the business, and that's open questions. Like you can ask anything. We don't like to ask things like, oh, somebody said no, when? In the other page, we don't want people to be discouraged from the business. So those are my 2 groups. I do have a personally sponsored page, but I don't use it often because I'm not technically building for like rank. I'm not worried about, like, I'm 9-star. I'm not like, oh, I need to get to 15. I'm like, I need to help. I connect with so many people that are 3 or 4 levels deep. So I don't care that they're not my personally sponsored. And I love working with people who want to work. So anyone in my downline, I don't care how deep they are. I will do a one-on-one if they're committed, and if they'll show me their bat, and I do make like things you have to have a one-on-one. You have to do like show that you're working. But I more so work with that group. I post in that group every day. I do live in that group, and I don't really use my personally sponsored one.
Okay, I'm the same. I work with whoever wants to actually work.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're my personally sponsored or not.
Yeah. I know people who do. I have a lot of friends who work mostly with in that the business kind of makes it that way. Sometimes the culture of Beachbody can come across like just to rank advance, but you're going to grow. Your volume's going to grow. Your friendships are going to grow, and people connect with different people. Like all my diamond coaches are in that one group, and we all work in there together too. And people are going to connect more maybe with Kelly or Carrie or Debbie than they connect with me. And I can see them talking to each other. So I'm glad that I'm not secluding them to my little group. Do you know what I mean? I want everybody to work together. And it's something about it when, like, I just posted that today, and there's already like 17 comments from like an hour ago of what great happened in your business today. People are like feeding off each other. Where if it was just my personally sponsored group, my diamonds wouldn't be in there because they have a lot going on. And I feel like it wouldn't be as exciting, because the more comments and the more like engagement in a post, the more people want to be a part of it, and everybody kind of like feeds off each other's energy.
Yes. Sorry, somebody took a header out there. I've got bloody lip and everything.
Oh no.
Sorry. I love that about what happened that's positive, because I find a lot of times what can happen is people get so absorbed in the Success Club.
Yeah.
That's all they're shooting for, and they don't give themselves recognition for selling a 21-day fix, or for signing somebody up for a free client, or whatever the case may be. I find it's hard because you're celebrating them for hitting Success Club.
Right, but that's not all to it.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Because you're like, oh, look, because something that I do in my group is I got this from my coach. She would celebrate when people sold challenge packs, because obviously when you go in your back office, it comes up. So I started to do that, and people were really excited about that. But at the same time, I had a few coaches messaging me saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I can't sell challenge packs, and I'm trying to do this for you. And I'm like, no, not for me. Not for me. I'm trying to get you excited about this, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard for them to not be like, because I'm like, my goal is this, right? And then they're like, oh my God, I'm helping Ashley get to her goal. And like, all of my coaches really want to help. Like they all want to help. So they know they're helping me, right? But there's just too much pressure.
Yeah, that's cool. It's interesting too. I haven't ever shared my personal like goals with my team, and it's probably something I should do. It's interesting that you say that, because it kind of makes them more excited in a way that they're not doing it just for them. They're like helping your growth too. That's a really cool point. That's interesting. I like it.
Yeah, I found when I started sharing, because ultimately my goal is for my husband to retire. I was a police officer for 10 years.
Oh.
I quit when I had my son, like when I had to go back, and that's when I started coaching. So I was all in, and I knew that. And my husband is like so talented photographer, and I just want him to be able to quit. And so that's my why. So when I'm talking about that, the girls are like, oh, I'm so happy that I'm helping you, one step closer to getting your goals and stuff like that. I think it motivates them to know that they're helping as well.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to look at it. I love it. I definitely love it. You just got me thinking too. Thanks.
Yay.
I love when I learn stuff when I'm like on someone else's team call. It's really cool. There's only a few, honestly. A lot of times I'll have to like speak for 30 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I'm probably such a snore fest right now. So I appreciate the openness of this call too. And I learned from you, so thanks. And it's been an hour and you guys are still on, so that's cool.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
So when you're first starting out and you sign another coach, I mean, because I haven't signed up anybody yet. So how can you help them be a good coach when you're don't even feel like you're there yourself? Like if I still have so much to learn, how do I tell people how to be successful in their business if I'm still trying to be successful?
Okay, that's such a good question, because I don't know why I was in such a crazy mindset when I signed up, but when I signed up, obviously I had no coaches either. And the first few people that I did sign up are now, not all of them, but they're my like star diamonds, because we built together. And they knew I had just signed up. So I wasn't looking to, I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to be your boss. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. Like that wasn't my role with them, and they knew it. They knew that we were going to build this together, and we were going to like grow together, that this was a 100% together thing. In the first like 5 coaches that I had that were interested, we got in a message thread and we talked every day, and we like fed off each other. We built off each other. And those are all, I was Emerald in January and went 6-star that end of the year, because those 6 people, we all started building together. And we grew this thing together. Like we ran challenge groups together. We ended up making a Coach Basics together. And it was like our thing. We had just like this thing that we were doing, moving along together. Do you know what I mean? So when you look at it that way, it's so cool. And even if they're just looking at the health and fitness, like I always say, for me, I don't even like working out, which probably is not something I should admit being in this company. I do work out because I have to, but I love business building. I love showing people like the opportunity that they have put in front of them, that they can change their life. That's where I like excel. But I do work out because I have to. And I always think that I would never want to sign up with someone who was super, super fit, because I feel like I would be disappointing them. I wouldn't be good enough. I'm never going to love it the way they love it. And I'd rather go along with somebody who is like on the same journey as me, with me, so that we can connect and share ideas as we go along together. So I think it's all in how you look at it, but get people excited to do this with you, and not, like, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to say, oh, you need to do this and you should be eating that and you should be, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I think maybe we should do this, and making it more of a we. You'll find that you'll grow a team super fast if you are building all together.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Does anybody else have any questions? Because that was all the ones that were posted in Team Iron. Does anybody have anything else? Anybody? No. Erin, thank you so much.
Oh,
that was so awesome. That was so awesome. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Natalie's going to be excited. It all worked out.
Yeah. I know. I was worried, and then I get on in 5 minutes. I'm gone. I'm like, yikes. Oh man. So I'm glad that it did come together. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm going to jump off, but I appreciate it. And I appreciate that you all came here in the middle of the day to hang out with me. So have a great Tuesday. Thank you again. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye, Erin. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. I think we can end, right? Nobody has any questions for me, obviously, because I'm not Nat. Everybody's all good?
Yeah, well, thank you, Ashley.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to message you, Alexandra.
You need to.
I know. I'll message you.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.